What do you do when things go wrong? Let's say we just uploaded those 4 rows and now we realize those were from the wrong site. There are 2 ways you can correct data in AQS, but only one way if you've got your data all the way through to post, as we did. If you just sent your data to stage, you could correct it by using the correct menu, but we've got our data all the way through to post. So how do we get that data out of AQS so that we can load the new data? What we have to do is submit a batch file that has, instead of an insert indicator of an I in the file, it's got a delete indicator in the file. So let's go back to the file that we loaded, and this is the file that we loaded into AQS. And you can see it's got 4 rows. It starts off with raw data, and then there's the pipe, and then the I for insert. So this is telling AQS that we want to insert these 4 rows into AQS. This is PM 2.5 measured with a BAM but not operated as an FEM. These are the method codes, and this is the date, the 1st of July, for the first 4 records of that day. So what we want to do is remove this I and replace it with a D and then submit this as a batch file. And then AQS will say, oh, okay, delete all those rows. This is easily done if you've got only 4 rows, but if you've got a lot, then you need to be a little craftier. What we want to do is select some text, including the I, Control C on your keyboard, or right-click this selected text and say copy, then go to Edit, and then Replace, click in the Find What and do either Control V or right click and paste. And now we want to replace that I pipe TT with D pipe TT. Now how do you find a pipe? The pipe is the character that's on top of your slash button, and my slash button on my keyboard is above my enter key. So I have to click Shift slash and then TT. And that way, if there's another I in the file, it won't replace that with a D. So we're going to say replace all. And you can see now we created a file that's a delete file. So we're going to save this as a delete file by changing the name, delete. Now we have to go through the process again of going back and loading this. So we go back to the Exchange Network Services Center. We've already used the Exchange Network, so if you go to My Services, it should be the top service that you find. You click on the service name, you choose the file, and now you find the file that you just created, making sure you select the one that has delete. So you choose that file, log this, take the time now to log this in your database logbook, enter the information just as you did before, but this time remember you've got this delete file. Click Send Data, and then you're going to go through the process and watch as it goes through My Activity. View the status of this request in My Activity, and it opens up this panel and it tells you it's processing. So you have to be patient, and you can click Refresh Activity and it likely will tell you it's still processing if it's only been a minute. If you're impatient, you can keep clicking it and then it will say pending, and then ta-da! You will see completed and the same indications that it went all the way through to post with 4 records. So now we can go back into AQS and let's go to Maintenance, Sample Values, Raw Data. Haha, there's nothing there. Let's make sure the data really isn't in AQS by retrieving a report. So you go to Retrieval, Standard Report Selection. It says Query Canceled because we're leaving this form without having done anything with it. It takes us to the Standard Report Criteria Selection box. We click the report code, and let's run AMP350, the raw data report. Click OK, run online or send via email, whichever you prefer. Now we can click on Data Selection, and now enter your tribal code and the site ID if you have more than one site, and make sure the pollutant type is correct. If you loaded criteria pollutant, this is fine because it defaults, but you may want to have it all just in case you have data that is not a criteria pollutant. And then you have to enter the dates and then click Generate Report, and it takes a while, but it opens up a PDF file that you can expand, and the first page is the cover page. It tells you the site ID, the tribal code, etc. And then if you go to the second page, it's empty. There is no data here, so our delete file worked. So that's how you remove data.